You are standing on a busy street when someone collapses in front of you. Dozens of people are watching, and yet nobody moves. Not one person. And the real reason why is far stranger than you think. This is not a story about cruelty. It is not a story about indifference. It is a story about what your brain does when it shares a problem with a crowd, and why that ancient instinct is quietly failing you every single day. In 1964, a woman named Kitty Genovese was attacked outside her apartment building in New York City. Dozens of witnesses reportedly saw or heard the assault. Almost none intervened. The case shocked the world. But the question it raised was not about evil. It was about something far more unsettling: the structure of human attention itself. Two psychologists, John Darley and Bibb Latané, were so disturbed by the Genovese case that they designed an experiment. They placed participants in a room, told them others were listening on an intercom, and then staged a medical emergency. When a participant believed they were the only witness, they helped 85% of the time. When they believed there were 4 other witnesses in the room, that number dropped to 31%. Same emergency, same person, completely different response, just because of how many people were watching. Darley and Latané called it diffusion of responsibility. Your brain, in a crowd, does not calculate the situation and decide to do nothing. It simply assumes that someone else will act. The responsibility spreads across every witness like a thin layer of paint across a wide wall, and each individual share becomes so small it disappears entirely. You do not feel like you are making a choice. The choice dissolves before it ever reaches your awareness. But here is where it gets stranger. This is not a modern failure. This is an ancient feature. Your ancestors did not live alone. They lived in tightly bonded groups of 20 to 50 people, where every individual knew every other individual, and every social role was clearly defined. In that world, diffusion of responsibility almost never occurred, because everyone knew exactly who was supposed to act and when. The group was small enough that invisible accountability held firm. If someone needed help and you did not act, the entire band would know. There was nowhere to hide. The psychologist Stanley Milgram later described this as the urban overload hypothesis. The modern city, he argued, bombards your nervous system with so many strangers, so many potential responsibilities, so many competing claims on your attention, that your brain does the only rational thing it can. It filters most of them out entirely. Not out of malice, out of survival. Your ancient brain was never designed to feel responsible for people it does not recognize. But there is a way to break the effect, and the research is precise about how. Darley and Latané found that one variable collapses the bystander effect almost instantly: direct eye contact and a singular request. Not a general cry for help into a crowd, a pointed finger, a locked gaze, a specific person addressed by description. You in the red jacket, please call an ambulance. The moment the responsibility is assigned to one person, the diffusion evaporates. The crowd disappears from your brain's calculation. You are no longer one of many. You are the only one. This is the counterintuitive truth buried inside one of psychology's most famous findings. The bystander effect is not evidence that humans are selfish. It is evidence that humans are exquisitely wired for small, intimate, accountable communities, and that they become temporarily paralyzed when dropped inside an anonymous mass of strangers. The instinct to help is still there. It simply needs a target. Think about the last time you scrolled past something that troubled you, a post that described pain, a comment that described crisis, a headline that described suffering on a scale so vast your mind could not grip it. You kept scrolling, not because you did not care, because the responsibility was pointed at no one, which, to your ancient brain, meant it was pointed at everyone, which meant it was pointed at no one at all. The crowd is still the cave wall. The responsibility still dissolves in numbers. And the stranger on the street is still waiting for someone to say their name.